Hi friends, I'm Tina Weller, the Serene Stamper. I have a project to share with you today I'm so excited about because I think you're going to love it as much as I do. I first did this project this past spring with my Stamp Club members, and I promised them I would do a video, and oops, I'm only just getting to it now and it's November. But the good news is these make fantastic Christmas gifts. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Isn't that pretty? I'm calling this a patchwork frame because I don't know what else to call it. I saw a couple of samples online, but unfortunately I couldn't find instructions or tutorials on how to make it, and I can't give credit where credit is due because I don't know where it originated. But I love this and I managed to figure it out, and I'm quite pleased with the results. So this is the one that we made this past spring, so it's got nice fresh colors for spring and summer. So you can see this would be great for a birthday gift or even a baby gift. Change it up for babies or weddings, whatever you like. Today though, it's all about Christmas. Look at this piece of work. Love this so much. This is what I'm going to demonstrate on the video today. Now if you know me, you know I love glitter. So this is covered in dazzling diamonds. It is stunning in real life. And I have filled the little squares with pretty little embellishments. We have vintage faceted buttons, we have our snowflake embellishments, we have little wooden stars and trees, and we've got more rhinestones and pearls. So pretty. And a little bow, and I've stamped Hello December on here. Don't you love that? I love that. So of course, you're gonna need to give this with a card. So here is a nice, quick and simple, clean card, very easy to make. It's got 3 of the squares, same technique, of course some dazzling diamond glitter on the edge and some stars and your sentiment, and you're ready to rock and roll. Now, how about this beautiful card? This one is made using the All Is Calm Designer Series paper, and it truly is calm. It is beautiful. I love the blues and the greens in this Designer Series paper. And then I know it's probably hard to see on the camera, but we have a cute little banner down here that says Very Merry. So I really like that a lot. But do you want to see my favorite? This is what I just made today. Ta-da! This is an 8x10 frame. And these frames, by the way, are just from the dollar store, so it doesn't have to cost you a fortune to make these. I didn't want glass on this one because I love the feel and the texture of the paper itself. I totally scored on the background paper. This is music from a book I found at a secondhand store from 1939. And I just used our Christmas Designer Series paper again, and the only embellishments I used are gold sequins, stamped my season's greetings, and done. I love making these. I truly enjoy making these. They're so fun and the possibilities are endless. So are you ready to see how easy it is and how much fun it is to make these? I bet you're ready. So let's get stamping. Let me show you how fun and easy this is to put together. For this particular video, I'm going to make a 5x7 frame. Let me start by showing you the frame. This is just a frame that I've picked up at our local dollar store, and it comes with a matting in it. It might be hard to tell on the camera because everything's white. So when I've taken it apart, I actually get a couple of mats like this and the black frame. So this is for a 5x7 photo, which would fit inside of the matting. So what I did is, because I want my back piece of paper to be some decorative Designer Series paper. This is from All Is Calm Designer Series paper. This ordinarily would fit a 5x7 photo, so I've cut this to measure 5.5 by 7.5. I added 1/2 inch on each side, reason being when I go to tape it on the back when I'm all done, I've got that little extra space for taping it. So I already went ahead and I punched out a bunch of circles from our Designer Series paper. These are from different packages of our current Christmas Designer Series papers, and all of the supplies are on my blog. And what I did is I used our 1 3/4 inch circle punch. My template is actually some of the cardboard that comes with our Designer Series paper. It's part of the packaging, and it's a little bit harder and sturdier than our regular cardstock, which is what I want for this because this is going to be my template. Now this measures 1 1/8 by 1 1/8 inches. And that's a good size template for this size circle. Feel free to experiment. If you're going to use different size circles, they'll work. I experimented with the different size squares, and I found that this is what worked best for the 1 3/4 inch circle. So you can go ahead and punch out your circles and then just make a template to go on the inside. What you want is when you put your square template on the inside, you want basically the corners to touch the outside. Now this one's not exact. It doesn't touch the outsides exactly, but it's enough that when I fold it over, it's going to be even. And as I said, I'm going to fold it over. Just like that. So it's like folding up for like a little present. So I've just folded up all 4 edges. So of course the base of the inside of my circle measures the square, which is 1 1/8 by 1 1/8. Open it up and set that aside. When you are folding these, you're going to want to kind of think about what pattern and what color you want on the inside of your squares. So as you're putting this together and you're rearranging your squares, you might want to reverse that. But you'll see what I mean as we go along. Please remember, when you're doing these things, it doesn't have to be perfect. I know some people can't sleep at night unless it's exact, and that's fine. But I also don't want you to stress when you're doing this. If your corners kind of fold over a little bit on the corners, that's okay. No one's going to know unless you show them. So don't show them, because when you put them together, I promise you're not going to see that. All right. This goes together really, really quickly. Because I'm working with a 5 by 7 frame, I know that I'm going to need 10 of these circles, and that is my 1 3/4 inch circle. So if you make these smaller or bigger, you may need to adjust how many circles you need. But for the 1 3/4 inch with a 5 by 7 frame, you need 10 circles. All right, I have my 10 squares made, so now I'm going to rearrange them on my paper into a pattern that I like. So I'm actually going to push them all off to the side a bit so that I can have a clear background to work with. And I'm going to have my pattern, my frame going landscape. If you want it to go portrait style, then make sure you turn it so that it is portrait style as you're building it. But I want mine to go landscape. So there's going to be 3 on the top, 4 in the center, and 3 on the bottom. So I'm going to do my middle first. So I'm going to find my middle section of my paper. Now I'm eyeballing it. You can measure it and be more precise if you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it's right there. And actually, I'm going to put my brown piece in the middle. So then I'm going to put a second one beside it, another one beside that one, and then I need yet another one over here. Maybe I'll do blue. So I'm going to slide those over so that they all fit, just like that. Now I'm going to move on to my top row, and I'm going to just fill in those little gaps. And you can play around with the patterns in the direction that you want the patterns to go in. Okay, I've got those positioned how I like, so now it's going to be a matter of gluing them onto my paper. You can use your snail, you can use whatever glue you want. I'm going to use my liquid glue because it's handy. And I'm going to start with this metal piece. Put some glue on there. Okay. Slide those down a little bit and move on to the next piece. And I'm going to do this all the way across, move on to the next row until it's all finished. One thing I want to mention, when you move on to the middle row, don't start on the outside. Work your way out so that everything lines up. So you can just kind of smush them right in so that these three are all touching. Then you can add this one. But it's a lot easier if you start on the inside and then do the ones on the outside afterwards. You want to really butt those edges so that they're all touching on all the sides. Now I'm adding my outside pieces for this row. You don't want any gaps, so really make sure that there's no gap between these two pieces here. I love how this is coming together. And this looks really, really nice on just plain white background as well. And I'm going to show you that in a few minutes. But I really wanted a very festive, Christmassy one, so that's what we're doing now. Now it's time to embellish. Okay, I'm going to use one of our vintage faceted buttons. Love these. And I'm going to use some of my early espresso baker's twine. And I want to thread that through. So I'm just using a floss threader. And I'm going to go through my button. Pulls it right through. There we go. And before I tie that into a bow, I'm going to adhere it with the glue dot. So I've got my glue dot behind my button. I'm just going to put that in the middle. I like putting my buttons down with the glue dot first before I tie the bow, because then they're not going to wiggle around when I tie it. And I want to make an itty bitty little bow for this one. Just like that. Now we need another embellishment. So I'm going to use my star punch. I'm going to punch out a gold star from my gold glimmer paper. And I want to raise that a little bit. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Dimensionals and just cut a tiny piece. Put it on the back of my star. And I think we're going to put that one on the brown, just like that. I have a button that I made with our Simply Pressed clay, and I just put some Pool Party ink refill in with the clay and rubbed it all together, and then pushed this into the mold, popped it out, and let it dry overnight. So I'm going to add some liquid glue behind that. I find the glue dots don't really hold these down very well, so you're going to want to use liquid glue or hot glue. And I'm going to, I think, put this on the red background, just like that. Alright, I've gone ahead and I have filled in all the squares with my embellishments. I've got lots of fun things going on. I even have a little Christmas tree, and if that's one of our little wooden trees, if you're wondering where that came from, it's from the holiday supplement with the Project Life kit. And now I'm ready to stamp my sentiment. And I'm going to use the December Wonder, which is also part of the holiday supplement, Project Life. Love this so much. And I'm going to use the Hello December. I'm just going to put this photopolymer stamp on my clear block. And I'm going to ink this up with my early espresso. Perfect. That's coming along really, really nicely. So now it's time to frame. I want my mat to be all sparkly. So I'm covering it with my First & Mark ink, and then I'm going to sprinkle on my heat and stick powder. Once I've got this covered with my heat and stick powder, I will take it and sap it with my heat tool, and then basically I have a tacky adhesive, and I will then sprinkle dazzling diamond glitter on top of this. So there's my matting. Extremely glitterified. Gorgeous. So now I'm just going to put it together with my picture in my frame. Look at that, you guys. It's beautiful. I love it. And And of course it's kind of hard to show you because I've got lights around and cameras, but it is truly, truly Christmassy and very, very pretty, and I love it. So now I'm going to add a bow. So here's my finished frame. It turned out really, really nice. And I just added a little bit of ribbon just to finish it off. I just hot glued that on, and I'm quite pleased with that. But this is an 8x10 frame. The insides are just little gold sequins. That's all I did. And then I stamped the season's greetings down below. So I'm so pleased with these. I love making these. You can make these for weddings. You can make these for birthdays, for babies. The sky is the limit. It's just wonderful. I love making these. Thank you for watching today. I appreciate you, and I hope I've inspired you to create something fun today. Happy stamping!